So what type of profits and what type of lead generation do I do with my non-emergency medical transportation company? One of the things that really threw me for a loop, and this was a few years ago, I think this was back in 2016, 2017. So I took a big loss with the contract. I had one of my family members working for me. He was a young kid, young guy, and he wasn't really ready to work. I put it like that. I'm still biting my tongue. They're still family, but when you dealing with someone in their early 20s, a lot of times you're just gonna run into a problem because they're not built to work yet, especially in this industry. So as a result, instead of throwing him under the bus, I thought my company could take it and we could just work through it and figure it out. And what ended up happening is, that wasn't the case. It was like a $500,000 contract out the window. It was like, we can't be associated with the company that doesn't employ professional individuals. And he was right. No one wants to be associated with a company that employs unprofessional individuals. It didn't matter that with that one contract we did, over 500,000 miles worth of smooth, quiet service. One bad apple could spoil the bunch. And that's literally what happened. But what did I do after that? Like, did I feel sorry for myself? Or did I, dust myself off and got back to work? Now, if you guys have been on this channel, I've read some of the comments on some of the videos. Some of you claim that I come off as kind of arrogant or self-confident. So I think what I did when everything went wrong with that contract. I doubled down and got back to work. But that bad situation that was connected to a broker put me in a good position to understand the direction I really needed to take my company, and that was to online. Really being connected online, not just feeling comfortable about having a couple of contracts with a couple of brokers. And that's what I did. I said, you know what? Everyone in Hillsborough County needs to know about me, and I don't have the time or ability per se to get out in front of everyone's faces. One, is hard to in this industry to truly get in front of the decision makers unless you create a funnel that brings them and it brings attention to your company. And so what I started doing was dancing and playing with Google. I started dancing and playing with Bing and Google ads and Facebook ads and really trying to build my company so where the service that I provided or was providing was focused online as opposed to being physically and you can touch it and see it. I went from brick and mortar to, literally what I would describe as a company evolving into a SaaS company, a software as a service company. Our focus isn't just today in providing wheelchair trips directly, physically, but it's about creating a system that automates your wheelchair transportation process and shows and puts my company in a position to where we're managing areas as opposed to just a handful of clients under our list, and then managing clients that another company has a contract for. And your company should be the same. You can really find yourself in a position where you're managing other people's issues. As you guys know, and we've talked about it many a time, you're really here solving a problem more than anything. You're just saying to yourself, how can I put my business in a position to take this headache away from this facility? Or doing it on an individual basis where you're taking a headache away from that loved one who has someone that needs to make it to a doctor's appointment, young or old. You're really just trying to put them in the best position possible to where their mind is at ease. So you're managing emotions. Most people in this industry don't care about the cost. They care about taking care of their loved one. I don't care how much it costs. A couple of weeks ago, we transported a client. He had a stroke in Mexico. Luckily, his wife was able to get him to a hospital and get him the kind of care he needed, but he had to be flown from Mexico to, if I'm correct, he was flown from Mexico to Chicago. Chicago didn't have the best doctors, so his mother flew him from Chicago down to the Bay Area. Or maybe it's that he's from Chicago, maybe from Chicago, and they flew him over here. Either way, he made his way into one of my vehicles, and we transported him to a rehab facility. But the lady said she didn't care that it cost $30,000 to fly him from Mexico to the United States. She cared that her son was taken care of. Now, a lot of y'all saying, shit, I had 30 grand right now, bro. He might have had to stay down there for a little while. And then there's others of you saying that's exactly the type of clients that I work with. They don't care about the price. You charge them whatever, it doesn't matter. They care about receiving the service and getting it done. You want to have that type of mindset. You want to be focused on them receiving a service and making sure that it gets done. And that's it. All of that other conversation, all that other stuff doesn't matter. It goes out the window. I had a guy point out to me that you know, the information that I provide to you guys, they never thought about it from that perspective. You got to understand, up until 2017, neither did I. All I saw was brokers. And at that time, they were paying me a fair rate because I'm a difficult person to deal with when it comes to negotiating a situation. But it was a great opportunity to transition to something else for me. One, I was really tired of the broker model. I knew transportation wasn't supposed to be this difficult. Like, all of those calls day in and day out, my goodness, who wants to deal with all that? But then I started saying to myself, you know, how do I get to a point where I'm still making money, but I'm not doing as much work? And what happened for me was having that breaking moment. And a lot of you, hopefully your breaking moment doesn't hurt as much as mine, but I'm a stubborn person. So you can have the ability to pivot, but if you're not ready to make that move, something has to force you into making a move. A lot of you guys went through that during 2020. And you had to say to yourself, am I either A, going to continue to provide non-emergency medical transportation services, or B, am I going to get out of this industry? And a lot of y'all packed your bags and got out. And then there's others that said, I'm going to work through it and figure it out. I commend both sides, because if you were smart enough to get out, that might have been the right decision. For the rest of you guys that survived it and got through it and trying to bring your business back, as you know, every year in this industry, things are changing. So you got to continue to change with the market. There's always going to be a B2B relationship out there. The question is, can you connect the two? All right. There's always going to be a B2C relationship out there. Catches, can you connect the two? You guys got to remember, over here by the hospital now. You guys got to remember, okay, when you're dealing with brokers, their partnership is with Medicaid and Medicare. Their partnership is not with you. Their partnership is with the state-ran health care system. That's who they cater to. So if they have to step over you to get and maintain a relationship with the state organizations, they're going to do it. Your relationships are with the general population who needs your services, who demand your services, who your services are essential to, and to B2B relationships, hospitals, rehab centers, nursing facilities. That's where your focus needs to be. That's what you should be doing. If you're not, you need to start making that pivot. Or if you're going to stay in this industry, it's going to make you pivot. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you guys need my help, look me up. Happy to be of service.